Today, every day, small cap investors visit Agoracom knowing this is the day to discover the world's next great company, to have their dreams come true. That's why I take to the open road, to find them, to tell their stories, to engage them, to bring them to life, because they want to connect with you from your office, your phone, your home, anywhere. Agoracom, find your dream.
Welcome to CEO Interviews, a production of Agoracom, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives about what's going on at their companies. With us today, I'm happy to have him back, is Francis Dubé. He's co-CEO at ZEN Graphene Solutions. First day on that name. Company trades on the TSX Venture Exchange under the stock symbol ZEN. Now, for those of you who are new to the story, and that's going to be some of you, Zenyatta's discovered the largest and very rare ultra-high purity graphite deposit in Northern Ontario called the Albany Graphite deposit. They're now moving towards commercial viability, and more than just lip service. Over the last 4 months, they've started actively collaborating with 22 industrial end users, 10 Canadian universities, and have identified 5 verticals. So they're really moving. Francis, welcome to the show.
Thanks, George. Very happy to be back here.
Hey, first things first, happy name day. Today's January 16th. It's your first day under your new name, ZEN Graphene Solutions. What was the purpose of that name change? Is it just symbolic, or is there a deeper reason why you chose that name?
There's absolutely a deeper reason here. As the name suggests now, we actually are in the graphene business, and more importantly, we're here to supply solutions to the industrial companies out there that are looking to take advantage of what graphene can do. There's a lot of companies out there that know the merits of graphene, just don't know how to work with it. We're here to solve their problems. So the new name reflects both the market we're in and our mission, and that is to bring graphene solutions to the industrialized world.
And if people didn't know you any better, they think, well, that just sounds like the corporate jargon that everybody else uses, every other small cap CEO uses. But the fact of the matter is, over the last 4 months, and heck, even during December, when most people were taking time off, winding down to the holidays, your company was incredibly active with press releases, and the market has responded accordingly. So you've got to be happy with how the market is. We're not talking about stock price, but got to be happy with how the market is perceiving your work.
Absolutely, George. We've been doing a lot of work. There's no passengers on our team here at ZEN. We've got a lot of people working hard, and we don't always see the fruits of those labors immediately, but a lot of work we've done paved the way to what we've done in the last few months, the last few weeks. We've raised $3 million in flow through. We've got all our permits in place, and we actually got a very aggressive schedule here for the next few months to move ZEN forward.
Yeah, and that's what I want to talk to you about, because the great thing is, through your press releases, the market knows that you're funded, which is great. You're fully permitted, but what are the steps from here now? You've got the money in the bank. You've got a bulk sample project coming up, but there are a lot of steps in between. So kind of walk us through that, and also let us know what the ETA looks like.
For sure, George. The number one thing is we're in northern Canada. It's nice and frozen up there now, so we're able to build an ice road, which is much cheaper than trying to get a permitted, full road up there. We're going to be building an ice road here over the next 3-4 weeks. We're working with our partners at the First Nations community of Council Lake First Nations. They're working with Nuna Logistics. They've been in charge now to build the road up there, up to the deposit. And so we expect to be actually on the ground and starting to drill the bulk sample in the first part of February. That'll be a 30-day to 40-day process. We're looking at taking up to 990 tons of ore out of the ground, and we expect that to generate up to 40 tons of graphene precursor material. So it's a very large bulk sample. It'll permit us to actually start doing some price discovery, start working with our end users, and bringing them products to start embedding in their industries.
So that 40 tons of precursor material, I got two questions there. First of all, for people at home, just explain to them what precursor material actually means. And second of all, how much of that 40 tons are already spoken for in terms of shipping off to partners for testing and analysis?
Well, again, the precursor material is graphite. So graphite, when you think of graphite, graphite's, I'll compare it to a deck of cards. When we talk about graphene, graphene is a single card. So we literally generate slices of the graphite. Our graphite has been, studied in multiple universities across the world, Japan, Israel, UK, US, Canada. And every time we've worked with different partners, our graphite is very unique and has been judged to be the best to generate graphene with. This gives us a good market advantage on processing, the option to do it at a better price. We can't talk about prices too much, of course, with 43101 regulations, but the fact that we have a very high yield and we're creating actually a better quality graphene. This is very few layer graphene. We're talking single layer to 5-layer graphene. That's the highest valued graphene out there. So we have an advantage there, and that's why we want to get this bulk sample out and get out there in the world and start marketing our products and starting to see, what that stuff is actually worth in the real world.
So you've run us through the ETA and the kind of process for the bulk sample drilling, the ice roads and all that. What does it look like after that? You've got the 40 tons of material in hand. You start shipping that. How long until you expect you start getting feedback from potential customers, partners, the educational facilities? Because I'm assuming they're all going to be testing for different applications. Some will take shorter time, some will take longer timelines. So what does the rest of 2019 look like as far as getting feedback and results back from partners?
So as you know, a lot of these partners are actually, what we've done, and I'll use DLR again because that one's public. We've had a news release with them. The DLR is the German version of NASA. They're an aerospace company. I think they have like 5 billion euros of revenue last year. So a fairly large industrial group out of Germany. We've done a 3-way NDA with them and the University of British Columbia at the Okanagan campus. So we're working with them right now, developing applications, working with their top scientists, some academia out of UBC that are helping out as well, and some of our own internal people here at Zenyatta. And so that's the model that we built with the other 22 as well, companies that we're working with. So that research is actually going on right now. The goal of the bulk sample here and the timeline, let's walk through the timeline here. Right. As you say, by the end of March, we've finished the bulk sample. We're going to need a few months, probably up to 3 months, 4 months to actually process that bulk sample and get it to a stage where it's ready to process into graphene. So the first stage is taking ore and turning it into 99.8% graphite. And then from there, we start the process of turning graphite into graphene. So our goal is to basically by September 1st, start actually having graphene in commercial quantities. That's our goal. We'll see how the year evolves for us, but right now our target date is September 1st to start having commercial quantities of graphene.
Well, and the way you guys are moving the ball, you and Don Bubar, you're both co-CEOs, the way you've been moving the ball from the time you guys took over the company, I'd expect you guys to be hitting those timelines because that's been pretty impressive how you guys have been going. There was a quote in one of your December press releases. I don't know the exact one. I'm going to read it here, okay? It said, in the near future, ZEN plans to source the appropriate equipment required for graphene production and begin working with its partners on new technology development. What I found curious was to source the appropriate equipment required for graphene production. So are you guys putting the cart before the horse there, or is that you're really optimistic about what you're going to be able to achieve?
No, some of that is actually underway right now. We're working with a lot of universities on different things, and some of the universities are quite creative in how we can do certain things. And I don't want to get into it too much right now, but we're already underway on how we're going to be processing the graphite into graphene. We want to be ready so that as soon as that graphite is ready at 99.8%, that we can actually start our graphene production. So we're working on that right now so that we don't have a gap and lose time here. We can do multiple things at the same time, and that's what we're doing right now. Like I said, no passengers on this bus. Everybody's working on their thing so that we don't have to have a slowdown because one part of the chain of production isn't ready. So we're on that right now.
Francis, you identified 5 verticals. I'm going to read these off here: aerospace, biomedical, water treatment, transportation, civil engineering. And I'm sure you guys determined that from your various discussions with your 22 industrial partners and the 10 universities and so on and so forth. But what I found curious was you mentioned one specific product by name in a press release, and that was that, I'm going to read it off again, Albany graphite tailings show promise as cement replacement. Why did you mention that one specifically in a press release as a product, and how advanced is that potentially at this stage?
Well, the tailings material is always, the effort here is to be a green mining company, and tailings are always an issue for mining companies. So if we can actually turn that environmental issue into an actual product that can be used, number one, it helps us economically. We're actually turning an expense into a revenue, so that's terrific, but we're also creating a more green, environmentally friendly company by doing so. So in our work with the University of British Columbia, the Okanagan campus, they actually asked us to review all our tailings material. And in that review process, they've identified that our tailings have cementitious properties. So that was very exciting for them and for us. They communicated that to us. We've actually shipped them our tailing material, 2 drums. Those drums arrived in December. Those tailings material were wet, so they actually dried the tailings over the Christmas holidays, and they're actually starting to make cementitious products with them right now. So, it'll be probably another 3 months before we have data on how good this is, but it's a very exciting development for us. We'd be a better, greener, more environmentally friendly company with this, but we also generate about a 20x amount of tailings to our graphite. So, it would get rid of a lot of volume of tailings if we could turn this into a viable product. So it's quite exciting for us.
And that was the question I wanted to ask you, which is, cement/concrete is obviously a massive industry. It's global, supply is monstrous. So how do you look at this? Do you look at this as more as a specialty product, or could you actually scale that because you get the 20x tailings out of production?
We have a very large volume of tailings here. I mean, we'll have, over the life of mine, we're looking at 20 million tons of tailings here. It's a massive amount of tailings. So, if it does work out that it has some economic value, it'll be significant for the company. But we can also potentially here develop a product with that tailings and our graphene embedded in there and create a very unique product in the concrete industry. So that's not lost on us, but there's some research to be done, and we're working on that right now.
Yeah, but I figured because you guys named it specifically in the press release, I guess the university was pretty happy with what they saw. You guys were pretty happy with what you saw. So looking forward to seeing how that turns out. Last time we spoke, last question, Francis, last time we spoke, you were in Austin, Texas at a conference, presenting the company, talking to potential customers there. You really made an impression, and shareholders were really happy with the result and the energy and the information provided. So how happy have you and Don and the whole team been with progress since then? And how does the rest of 2019 look? And we know you've already given us the ETA items and some processes, but I'm sure there are other things that you're working on while those things are taking place. So, how's everything been the last since October when we spoke? And how's the rest of the year look? How excited are you guys about your prospect?
Good question, George. It's been a real exciting time for us. The world is basically starting to hear about Zenyatta, now ZEN Graphene Solutions. We've had a list of the top 10 companies as mentioned in Graphene Info. We cracked the top 10 at number 7. So the world of graphene is starting to hear about who we are, what we are, and that's very exciting for us. But what it's generating is market opportunities for us. We're starting to get more companies reaching out to us, wanting to work with us. We had 2 companies reach out to us yesterday because of the name change. So I think, again, why did we do a name change? Part of it is visibility. And we're already generating new leads because of that name change yesterday. So it's a very exciting time. Graphene is probably one of the hottest commodities out there right now, and we're really at the forefront of that graphene world, and it's nice to be recognized, but I think we're really at the starting gate in terms of what ZEN can do here.
Well, and I said that was going to be my last question because of what you just said there. It almost forced me to give you a follow-up last question, which is, you said, graphene is one of the most exciting, products, new things out there. I'm going to play devil's advocate here for a second. Graphene, for a number of years, has been touted by a lot of previous small cap companies and other people in the space who have come and gone, and a lot of institutions and scholars who have said it's going to be the next great product, but it hasn't really panned out on the commercial side. So, how do you talk to people? What do you tell people who might still think that the commercialization of graphene might still be well into the future? Are we there right now? In other words, the next 24 months, are we there for commercialization?
You know what, George? It's a new material. Same thing when plastics came on. We never knew how many different things we could do with plastic. Graphene's the same thing. It took a while, but we're getting there. Again, I'll use the same example as in our last interview. Ford Motors has actually embedded graphene into 10 different parts of their Mustang and their Ford F-150. And they're going to be rolling it out across their fleets. We're working with, a couple of big automakers as well. It's a party for them. And I think the real trick here is how you use graphene. And Ford, talked about that as well. It's not really graphene itself, it's how you use it. And that's why we're doing so much R&D. It's to develop IP and become an IP incubator, but also because the real advantage is in how you use the graphene. We don't want to be just a supplier, a commodity to the world markets. We really want to be an innovative company and deliver high-tech technology company to the world. And that's why we're doing this transformation. There's a new name, as you know, but there's also new logos and a new website coming up shortly. So, we're very excited about this relaunch, and 2019 is going to be a very exciting year for us.
Well, Francis, you and Don, who I have an immense amount of respect for because it's been in the industry for so long, for you, where you've basically gone from a GORCOM member to the C-suite, that's a great story in itself. You guys done phenomenal work since you came on, phenomenal work since our first interview in October, and really looking forward to what 2019 is going to bring. And I'm glad you brought that up. It's why I asked the question. I didn't know the answer, obviously, but I'm glad you brought the fact that other companies, so while you're doing this work with the companies we already know about, other companies are already starting to call you, and hopefully that turns into exponential business opportunities in 2019. But congratulations, and looking forward to the next 12 months.
Sounds great, George. Again, thanks for this opportunity. Always enjoy being interviewed with you. Thank you.
You've been watching Francis Dubé. He's co-CEO at ZEN Graphene Solutions. It's going to take time for a lot of us to get used to that new name, but that's the name, and that's the folks of the company. They trade on the TSX Venture Exchange on the stock symbol ZEN. For those of you who want to do more due diligence, get to a GORCOM, punch in the company's name or stock symbol. Look at all the information that's there. Watch the previous video. You're going to see more videos. And as always, take advantage of the Q&A potential there, because we've got Francis as a verified CEO. You ask questions, you'll get your answers, and that kind of accessibility is pretty exciting. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a fantastic day. See you next time.